Hi, everyone. Mitch from SportsChatPlace.com and PickDogs.com, and it's Saturday, May the 2nd, 2020. Tried to get the show done early today. I'm on the phone on hold with Best Buy, and I've been on the phone with them for 45 minutes. So if I cut out, it's going to be because I'm on the phone with them. But whoever's on with you will certainly get it done. But anyways, we've got NFL props today. We got the Arkansas Derby, 2 heats. So we're going to be going over that, and of course the sim picks. But let's bring in our first guest of the day, Steve Monahan. Steve, how you doing today?
Good morning, Mitchell. I'm doing fine. Better than you. I'm not on the phone with Best Buy.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole process. Best Buy told me I would have this package by April 21st. They stuck it in a truck in California, and then the truck went 60 miles in 4 days, and then they stuck it in a mailbox, and several weeks later, and I haven't got the package, and it's all part of the production stuff that's on the show, and we'll blame all of our production problems and everything that goes wrong on Best Buy for the short term.
Absolutely.
But let's take a look at some of these NFL prop bets that we're looking at. So we have, a look at just some of the major awards that are going on. And, of course, we know that there's no sports going on. We know that there's no sports going on. So we're just trying to fine-tune our show and get everything together. And normally I would never have a phone call and sit here and hold while we're doing the show, but it's like we could be here all day. But, Steve, the big NFL award, and of course, the one that's, but one of the easier ones to project is the MVP of the NFL. Last year it was Lamar Jackson, and he was certainly a superstar. Then we saw the MVP of the Super Bowl was Patrick Mahomes, and, he didn't even really do anything in the Super Bowl. I mean, I thought he was maybe third in MVP voting.
I thought Damian Williams should have been the Super Bowl MVP.
I thought Chris Jones, the defensive lineman, just busted up the 49ers when it counted. Yep. I thought that he took over that game and really blew up the 49ers game plan in the second half of that game especially. But, you could have gone with Damian Williams. I didn't think Mahomes, it's kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like not a lifetime achievement award, but kind of like, I don't know, kind of like Mr. Popularity or something. But we have a lot of viable candidates here, for this year's NFL MVP. And, of course, a lot of it has to do with the surrounding cast that they have. They rarely give it to the absolute best player. It's rare there's a Barry Sanders out there who's on a lousy team and he kind of just is, greatness. But, last year it was Lamar Jackson. He led his team to the best record in the NFL. It was not suspected, but, there's some great players out there at big odds. Christian McCaffrey at plus 5,000. Probably the most exciting offensive player in the entire NFL. And then you have, Josh Allen, who everyone loves the Bills this year, right? Plus 5,000 as well. Deshaun Watson finds a way to win. Tom Brady, if they're giving it out based on popularity, this is kind of the last rodeo for Tom Brady. Who are you looking at here for NFL MVP? Patrick Mahomes, the favorite at plus 400.
I'm going with the favorite, Patrick Mahomes. I think he's got the surrounding cast. He's done it before. Obviously the year that he had 2 years ago was off the charts, and we talked about Lamar Jackson had just a fantastic year. But I just think Mahomes, with his throwing, running, and the surrounding cast, that I think he'll throw for 40-plus touchdowns again, a boatload of yards, and I think that should be enough to get him the MVP again. I think he's going to win multiple MVPs in the next 5-6 years, so maybe 2 or 3. I would say he's that talented. So I'm going to go with Mahomes, the favorite.
Yeah, I think Mahomes, if it's a popularity contest, but I think if you look at the pure skill and talent, I think Lamar Jackson, I kind of like better there. I like what Russell Wilson does for his team a lot as well.
Yep.
But these are all the top favorites out there. who's a little further down? Like we see Ezekiel Elliott at plus 10,000, Alvin Kamara at plus 10,000, Joey Bosa plus 15,000, Ryan Fitzpatrick plus 15,000. Any of these guys, Tua, Travis Kelce, Gronk.
I could go with like Nick Bosa over Joey. I mean, J.J. Watt, has done it in the past, right? He won the MVP. I know he's defensive MVP, that type of thing. Like Lawrence Taylor back in the day, I think nabbed an MVP defensively, that type of thing. I think Nick Bosa could be a sleeper in the fact that he was so dominant as a rookie. I think he's only going to get better. So I might throw, roll the dice with Nick Bosa on the defensive side there.
Yeah, there's also the defensive MVP categories as well. And we have, the offensive rookie of the year. To me, I'm going to look for the value there. Actually, I'm going to go with Josh Allen plus 5,000. I think the Bills are going to be good, and I think that he's going to get a lot of the credit. I think he has that Brett Favre mentality of being a banger, and I think that that's going to resonate with the fans. And I think that Hello? Hello? Oh, I might have lost Best Buy after 47 minutes on the phone with them. Not a good thing. But we'll look at the offensive rookie of the year, another one of the categories out there. Joe Burrow, the favorite here, plus 225. He's on the worst team. He doesn't have a lot of help. So there might be some value here. You see anyone else on this?
I think Joe Burrow's going to have a welcome to the NFL year. I can tell you that.
He doesn't have the offensive line.
He just doesn't have any tools really to help him out. So I think he's going to have a long year. So I don't foresee Burrow winning Rookie of the Year in any stretch. But it definitely could be. I know Mitch doesn't like my CD Lamb pick for the Cowboys, but I got to tell you, I'm liking this pick more and more. We got him at 17. He was valued So, CD Lamb is another one for an offensive rookie of the year that I would go with, I think. Defensive. Best Buy. This is customer service. It's best right now, folks. Thank you, Mary. You've been very helpful.
Sorry about that, guys. I thought Steve would have a little bit more to lead you guys through. But anyways, that was Best Buy. Basically, the answer is nothing we could do. 48 minutes later, they actually told me, listen to this, charge it back through my bank. And this way I'll just get everything for free. Which sounds pretty good because it's about $600 with the equipment.
Right.
So, anyways, maybe one of these guys will be getting a new microphone courtesy of Best Buy. So I've already decided to switch my entire setup for the audio. Because after the audio problems we've had this week, I've decided to just go to a different setup for audio. But for me, I think that when it goes to the Rookie of the Year, I think there's two easy ones here. One is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that he's going to get the ball a ton in Kansas City. I think that Mahomes is, Andy Reid's a dump-off guy. He's got a gunslinger as a quarterback, but he is a dump-off type of coach. I think the other guy, J.K. Dobbins, going to a loaded team. I think you're going to see a phasing out here of either Gus Edwards or Mark Ingram. And I think J.K. Dobbins is going to get the ball a ton. A lot of people looking for big things out of CeeDee Lamb. I'm not one of them. I've pretty much made that clear. And if not, it's going to be a guy that comes from way out of nowhere. And it's going to be the guy that like Denzel Mims, who dropped. He's got the chip on his shoulder. It's going to be the guy like T. Higgins that Kuiper didn't like, or it's going to be a guy like Reagor, who's kind of like that little guy that can, everyone loves it, right? Billy White Cheese Johnson, Tyreek Hill, the kind of the little guy against the big guys, and it's like, one thing we know about the big guys, it's like, you ask any big guy in the NFL, they say one thing about going against the little guys, and that is, if they catch him, they're gonna kill him. It's like they're like, we chase that guy around, we just want to kill him. Yeah. But I think Ray Gordon is another guy, and just because the systems, I think, aid what they do. When we look at the defense, I think a lot of it more has to do with, once again, the supporting cast, because defense is an odd position, right? Because it's one of those things where in offense, the wide receiver catches the ball, the quarterback's throwing the ball, but it's not the linemen, right, that are getting a lot of the credit. And even though they're the ones making it go, when they get the credit, the linemen are only 2 days out of their entire career. One is draft day, and one is the day that their contract's up. That's it, right? They get 2. Or when they demand a trade, like Trent Williams did, right? So it's like, those are the only times that even happens. But on defense, it's the same thing. You get these big nose tackles. They go in there, occupy 2-3 blockers, and then you have a linebacker that makes 50 tackles a game, and he gets all the credit. When the linebacker, it's like you look at Ndamukong Suh's sack number. People they think defensive lineman, they automatically think sack number, right? But you look at a guy like Ndamukong Suh, and you say, it takes 3 guys to block, and it's like, look at his productivity. He doesn't have any tackles. He doesn't have any sacks. He occupied, you can ask any linebacker in the league and any offensive lineman in the league. And Vince Wilfork, same thing. He has no career numbers. There are games where he probably has a blank stat sheet that they won, and he was the most valuable player of the team. He occupied, and it was this way at Miami when he was our defensive lineman. I forget which coach Miami played against, and they said, well, what happened in this game? They said, well, they had this Vince Wilfork guy in the middle of the defensive line. First, we tried to block him with our All-American center. Then we tried to double team him. Then we tried to triple team him, and then we just gave up. And that's what happens. And so you don't see that, but it's always the guys for the awards that kind of get the interceptions that do the thing. So not necessarily, once again, not necessarily the best players. I always think that defensive linemen are the interior defensive linemen are the most underrated players in all of football.
And the best coming out of the draft is Derek Brown. So,
he's not going to be the defensive rookie of the year, but he's going to be a guy that when his contract is up, you're going to hear like Ndamukong Suh numbers, right? How could you give Ndamukong Suh? Because he makes everybody else on our entire team better. And it's like,
better.
And I think that's what you have here. But for me, on defense, I think it's going to be a pass rusher. I think it's going to be Chase Young.
Yeah, I think I would have to go with Chase Young as well. He's obviously going to get a ton of reps, and he's got the motor. Again, I'm trying to compare him to somebody, I guess, Von Miller or something, that type of thing. But that's the type of production that's expected out of Chase Young. So if he gets in the double digits in sacks, that's definitely.
I love Chazon coming into the draft. He's 20-1 on your money for Chazon for defensive rookie of the year. So he's another spot that I like. Anyways, show running a little long. We're going to cut you out, Steve. We'll bring you right back at the end, and we're going to bring Chris in. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Monahan from Sports with Mono and Mono. Chris, we're going to hit some more NFL props here, and we're not going to waste a lot of time. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. We sat in the green room for quite some time, which is the pre-show. Well, these guys had to hear my Best Buy call, which was just absolutely nothing fun about it. But anyways, the defensive player of the year is, this is something where, once again, pass rushers, people goes, it's a lot of it has to do with popularity contest. A lot of it has to do with these other things. So Von Miller, is back in the fold. I don't think it's going to be Myles Garrett. After, it's like that stuff will keep you out of the MVP race. But there are some really good defensive players. I thought Minkah Fitzpatrick was absolutely outstanding, especially after being traded to the Steelers. And he's 33-1 on your money at this point. But it seems to go to the pass rushing defensive end a lot. Maybe a linebacker too. Calais Campbell, Bradley Chubb. I thought Chris Jones was screwed in the Super Bowl. He's 50-1. Who do you like here?
There were a couple guys. You mentioned Minka Fitzpatrick, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Stephon Gilmore did it again because the Patriots are probably going to need to rely on that defense if they're going to have any sort of sustained success this season. But two guys I was looking at, the favorite Aaron Donald plus 700. He's started every game the last 2 seasons. This guy can stay healthy. He's a beast. 20 tackles for a loss last season, 12 and a half sacks. Another guy I was looking at is Shaquille Barrett out of Tampa Bay. I think if the Bucs are going to be for real, you can't just rely on Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and the possible second coming of Gronk. I think the defense is going to have to step up as well. And if Shaq Barrett can keep up the pace from last year, we led the league with 19 and a half sacks. We mentioned it's a lot of these guys that deal with the pass rush, and sacks may be a stat on the defense on the pass rush has been pushed into the forefront the last few years, but Shaq Barrett was a guy that got the job done last year, so I think he could be a guy to watch out for at 33-1 as well.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some value there, and I think there's also some value in a guy like Chris Jones at the plus 5,000. I thought, and DeForest Buckner, I think moving to Indianapolis where he's off that defensive line that was all number one draft choices. Now he's on a defensive line that has, he's the guy on that defensive line. I think he has a chance to shine there. So I think DeForest Buckner, even though he's probably going to get a lot of attention from the blockers, I think that if he can beat that, he has a great shot of doing it. And DeMarcus Lawrence is a beast. Anyways, comeback player of the year. This one is pretty much Gronk's to lose, I would say, at this point. Plus 300, but there's a bunch of other guys. Nick Foles has been hitting us, right? AJ Green missed most of the last season, but it's like people don't even see it, that he was that guy. Deshaun Jackson was out last year. Baker Mayfield wasn't out, but he was hideous, right? So it's kind of like when Pete Rose won comeback player of the year. Anyways, in baseball. Who are you looking at for comeback player of the year? I think it's Ben Roethlisberger for me all day, but I know Gronk is going to be the guy to beat here.
Yeah, Roethlisberger's at the top of my list as well. He's in reality he's their best hope. He's the Steelers' best hope at quarterback if they want to have any sort of success this season as well. You also got Ben Roethlisberger saying his arms feels as healthy as it has in years, so that could be a good sign going forward as well. I'm not going with Gronk, especially at just plus 200, just because he was an injury risk when he was playing and when he was at full strength, and even with a year off, I don't know how good I feel about that. I did look at AJ Green at plus 1,200. I think if Joe Burrow is going to have any sort of success in his rookie year in that tough AFC North, I think AJ Green's going to sort of be his safety blanket. Whenever he's been healthy, he's put up 1,000-yard seasons, and when he's played most of the year, so he could be a guy to look out for. The guy I like personally, I like Cam Newton at plus 2,000.
I was going to say that if he lands on the right team, I think Cam Newton is. If he lands on the Patriots, they go to the Super Bowl. He's going to win. He's going to.
Yeah. First overall pick is trying to shake a chip off his shoulder, saying he's still got it. People are starting to write him off. And it's like you said, if he finds the right fit, right offense, he wants to prove that he can still go, and I think at 20-1, he's definitely worth a look.
Let's take a look at the coach of the year. Bill Belichick, the favorite, but coach of the year, this is the longest shots on the board as far as the odds go. There's no clear favorite. Belichick is 10-1 on your money to be coach of the year. This is a guy that's won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach. He's also won a few as a defensive coordinator, where we basically coached them to the Super Bowl wins. You could argue all you want. I say if Jess Hofstadler was your quarterback and you win the Super Bowl, more than likely the defensive coordinator got you there and won it for you. But anyways, we have it here with Bill Belichick, 10-1 on your money. Matt Patricia, Doug Marrone, the long shots here. Adam Gase, this is like the Mitch's greatest hits, here at the bottom. Matt Patricia and Adam Gase, plus 5,000. In Vegas actually agreeing on something there. Brian Flores, I think, interesting at 25-1 here, and my guy Cliff Kingsbury, who stole the draft, as far as coolest pad. I like him here at 20-1 as well. I think that those shots of him, and it's a weird yard, right? It's a weird yard there because it's like you don't have continuous grass. It's like I'm chipping golf balls. It's like I'm more, how the hell can I even chip back there? Anyways, I think Kingsbury actually though by that show, it kind of brought him like, you know what I mean? It kind of gave him that look that people are kind of like, hey, Kingsbury's, But I think more what's happening is that the Cardinals are starting to put together a team. They have had some high draft picks. I think, with Kyler Murray, they hit a home run. And I would say, adding some offensive linemen, adding some defensive linemen, adding DeAndre Hopkins does nothing but help this team. I think the Cardinals are going to be one of the most improved teams. I picked them as a playoff team this year. And I think that would put Kingsbury in position. Chris, you think Mike McCarthy has any shot here with C.E. Lamb and Amari Cooper? And what's the other guy? Some other really high-paid players.
In reality, any coach on the list really has a shot. Two guys I was looking at was, it may sound obvious, but Andy Reid and John Harbaugh. These were two guys that led the AFC last year, two of the better teams. If we're talking about helping your team improve, then definitely I would look at Cliff Kingsbury at plus 2,000. If we're looking at just overall team success, and we were talking about it in the draft, the Chiefs and the Ravens were two of the best teams in the league last year. And two of the teams really didn't have many needs to fill. They just kept getting better. I don't think anyone would be surprised if either of these teams won 14 or even 15 games next year. So they're the pair coach I would look at as well.
Rod is saying you could pick 8 coaches and if one hits, you still can cash pretty good. I'm with them here on the same thing. Yeah. And I think for me, it's like you got to go in the middle of the pack, and I think you got to go with the guys that have the somewhat bad teams that have a chance to be good teams. And I think those are the ones, and that's why I like Brian Flores. I think the Dolphins have a shot to be a playoff team, and Cliff Kingsbury, two teams that have been horrible drafting top 5, for a while now, and you put them in, and it's like, I think those are my two guys here. I think John Gruden, people would love it if he was able to do it, right? 40-1 on your money, but that wraps it up.
Mike Tomlin as well at 25-1 is another one to
one of my favorite, right? One of my favorites. Anyways, we're gonna bring Rod in. We're gonna do some Arkansas Derby picks. We'll see you in a second, Chris. We're gonna do some sim picks.
Sounds good.
You. But let's bring in Rod Zawacki, the puck dog. Rod, we got the Arkansas Derby today. Today, of course, would normally be Kentucky Derby Day, the first Saturday in May, and it's crazy because I'm putting together the studio here, and so I'm going through all my memorabilia and stuff, and it's like it's so funny because it's like I always bet on horses, and it's like where I bet on their father and their grandfather, because I'm at that age now where it's like I bet on their all their brothers, sisters, fathers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers, mother was a mother was a mother, yeah. So I'm looking here. This is my Breeders' Cup program from the 2011 Breeders' Cup. My wife broke this up when she's like, "Hey, I found found this stuff." And if you look, in here, so Uncle Mo was the 12 horse, and he's got a bunch of his sons are in there for the Arkansas Derby today. So, Rod. They've split the Arkansas Derby which is normally would have taken place a month ago, right? The Arkansas Derby is one of the big ones, right? It's one of the big ones. Before there's the Florida Derby, the Arkansas Derby, and the Bluegrass and the Santa Anita Derby. Those are the 4 big ones, that lead into the Kentucky Derby. Those are the 4, and you win the Arkansas Derby, you're in, and it's like not only are you in, you're going to be tough. I think these Oaklawn Park, we haven't seen a real tough Arkansas Derby winner in a while. The last one was when the guy's foot came out of the irons, remember, in the Derby, and then he won the Preakness in the Belmont. It was Jeremy, Jeremy. Oh, man, they all start to run together after a while, but it was a Fleet Alex was the horse. Rod, you're muted.
Oops.
There you go.
There we go.
No dog sounds today. But anyways,
No dog
yeah, it was
sounds
a Fleet
today.
Alex, and it was Jeremy Rose was the jockey. I didn't even look it up. It just popped right into my head. The jockey was Jeremy Rose, and his foot came out of the irons in the Derby. He missed by like less than a length, and then he smashed him in the Preakness in Belmont. But he's the last great Arkansas Derby horse that I can remember. I'm sure there's been other ones, and maybe some people know. But splitting this into two races, Bob Beffert's won 5 of the last 7. You know, at Oaklawn here in Arkansas Derby. He's got horses in both races that are the favorites. To me, the second race is the better of the two races. Just from what I've looked at. But
big time.
I know that
race 11.
I know in Florida.
Race 11 is, I think, foregone conclusion.
In Florida, you liked Gouverneur Morris a lot. Do you think he's got a shot today in race 1?
Well, I'm going to put him in there. I really think Charlton's going to win this race. I think Charlton just runs away with this. I think he's probably going to go off at like 1-9. This is a really, really good horse. Out of all the Baffert entrants today, this is the one I like. This is a good horse. I see why he's going to go 1-9. So for me, and then it's a battle for second. But could Gouverneur Morris win? Yeah. For me, it's a battle of second between 3 horses, between Gouverneur Morris, Shooter Shoot, and Anu de Oa are the 3 horses that I got coming in second here.
Yeah, I can't bet even money. It's not in my vocabulary, so I'm going to throw him out here, and I'm going to go with Basin, the 11 horse. I think that coming from the outside is okay in a race like this. It's a little bit of a longer race, so it's like it's not going to affect him as much. But being on the rail, if they can pinch Charlatan in at the beginning, he's going to have trouble because this horse has got to get to the lead. He's got to get there, and if he can't get to the lead off the rail, he's going to get used up early. And we know what happens when you get used up early. You don't finish. Everyone starts passing. You start coming down the stretch.
Oh, yeah.
But in Arkansas, generally at Oaklawn, the front runners have done well. For some reason, it seems and maybe it's just in my mind. It seems that it always is raining at the Arkansas. I don't know. It's like I've seen so many times where it's like kicking up mud in everybody's face on the front runner. But I'm going to go with the 11. I'm going to go with Basin here. I think he knocks off Charlatan. I think you throw Charlatan in there and some of your exotics, and if he beats you, he beats you. But I like Mimosa here as well, out of Uncle Mo, who's got one of the favorites in the next race. And I think that, you throw him in there with any of these other guys as well, and I think the Gouverneur's got a shot. I don't like him to win here, but, Jungle Runner is the only other horse here that's even hit the board in this type of company. The issue with this race, and the reason why Charlatan is such a big favorite here, not just because he is the best horse here, but the issue here is that there's nobody in this race that's even hit the board in a big race except for Basin. And the Gouverneur hit the board. Did he hit No, he didn't even hit the board in Florida, right? So, I think I'm going to go with Basin. I'll throw Charlatan in there in my box. So it's going to be an 11-1-3 Mimosa. But I tell you, if he gets to the lead, if Charlatan gets to the lead, this race is over. You don't even have to watch the end. You can just walk to the fridge, grab a turkey sandwich, and get ready for that. Because if he gets to the lead out of the gate, this race is over.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He'll take off like a rocket and win by 20.
It'll be done. So we go.
That's right for me. I'm going 1, 2, 4. So
I'll go 11-1-3 in that one. I'm going to try and beat him, but I'm going to box him up. 11-1-3. I'll go with $2 exacta box and $1 try box on that race. Then we'll go to the next race, and this one we got another favorite, but he's not favored by as much, but I think he might be even the better horse here, and that's Nadal, of course, named after Rafa Nadal. And once again, just another tough horse here. But this horse is this race is clearly the better of the two races. I mean, the horses. I don't know how they decided who was in what race, but this horse has all the better things. But the issue that Nadal has here, and why he's 5-2, is that there are a few horses here that are also bullets on the front. So it's like if King Guillermo and Wells Bayou, they go out here, it's like all three of them could be shot, and it could be anybody, Silver Prospector coming from nowhere to grab it. So
Silver Prospector and Farmington Road are big come from behind horses.
Yeah, and I think this might be the race where they might have a chance to pick up the pieces, but I could see those three also going, and nobody catching them. So what are you looking at here in this one? I love the name Storm the Court. I thought that, to me, that's one of my favorite horse names of the year. Love Storm the Court. I think it's a great name for a horse, and I thought My Friend's Beer was a good name for a horse, but Storm the Court for me in this race.
Chris liked My Friend's Beer. So for me, I like Silver Prospector. Nice come from back. Farmington. I like King Guillermo here. He's got a real good shot at winning this race. So for me, it comes down to 4. I got to put them in. So 4, 5, 7, 10.
So you got are you going superfecta box there? Or are you going trifecta exacta? $2 a $2 exacta box is $24 for 4 horses.
Yep.
$1 tri box is $24 for 4 horses. And then
so that's what I'm going to do on both. I'll do
$48.
I'll do a factor and a try on both.
Sounds good to me. It's like it got to the window. They always say, "Would you like anything else?" And I'm like, "Yes." As a matter of fact, I would. It's like
for me, and then I'm also doing
I admit it that the people at the racing only windows in Vegas at MGM and at Westgate both know me on a first name basis. And I always say, so here's the one thing that I always tell people, and it's like, here's, outside of the horse racing tip, here's the one Vegas tip for you, that if you're going to go get a drink in Vegas and pay for a drink, just go to the sports book, bet a horse racing race for $2, bet a $2 exacta box, or bet a $1 exacta box, tip the person $2, you got a $6 bet, you tipped them $2, you get 2 drink tickets, which is worth that price there. If you hit your race, there's your free drinks plus your tip money probably. So there's your Vegas tip for you. But I think in this one, this is gonna be a tough one. I got to keep Silver Prospector in there at 7. I know Mr. Prospector.
4, 5, 7.
I bet Mr. Prospector. It's like Mr. Prospector horse has been very, very good to me over the years. Of course, Wells Bayou, Prairie Bayou. Oh God, it's like I don't even have to look at a form. I can tell you the bloodlines on these horses, right? And I think going to be tough. And I think Nadal. Love Joel Rosario, and I just think that he's just a great jockey. And you have to think that Baffert's going to win one of these two at least.
Everybody's thinking Baffert's going to win a double. He figures they figure he's going to win race 11 and then race 12. He's got a horse in there, Improbable, in race 12, which is another, I don't know what they call it, but it's another $500,000 stakes race sandwiched in the middle of these 2 Arkansas Derby races.
I'm going to bring everyone back in. So for me, I'm going to go 5, 7, 11 in this race.
Yeah, and I'm going 4, 5, 7, 10. 4, 5, 7, 10.
Not bad. I like those two. I think this race, we're going to see some value here. I'm probably not going to be happy.
This race is
going to be like King Guillermo, which is another good name. Yeah. But anyways, we got sim picks today. We have also the virtual Triple Crown that Randy was talking about. This is cool. This is all the Triple Crown winners going at each other in a virtual race. Secretariat, the big favorite here, plus 175, though. Still, almost 2-1 on your money. Rod, you see anyone knocking off the great Secretariat? He's like a machine! One of my favorite calls of all time.
Yeah, probably not in a simulation. I don't see that happening.
He's running
he should...
like a machine!
Well, it's gone down to plus 110 now.
Yeah, well, he's, I have to say that I've seen some of these. I think American Pharaoh's a pretty damn good horse, too. And I think because he's recent, he's not getting a lot of ink. But he was the first Triple Crown winner that we had seen in a long time. I also like Seattle Slew. Loved Slew.
I was going to say, Seattle Slew's no joke either.
And I got to say, even if I lost the bet, I've won so much on his kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. It really doesn't matter, man. It's like Slew is more than paid for himself, and, man. So I think that's really a fun idea, and I really just love it. But, Chris, let's get to some sim picks here. We don't have a ton of time, so what do we got?
So for today, 1 Eastern.
How did we do yesterday? Let's just go over this real quick too. Let's do who covered.
Yesterday, the Bucks beat the Colts 30-25, and I don't think we did that game. I think it was just too early. The Giants beat the Bills 48-11.
Lost that one.
The Cowboys beat the Saints 41-24, and the Chargers beat the Cardinals 37-31.
I shit the bet on those. Anyways, let's go for today's picks. Let's see if we can do a little better. I should have kept with the penny. Should have kept the penny.
1 Eastern, Lions at Steelers. Steelers -7, over under 51.5. I like the over here.
I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Steelers.
Let's go.
Steelers.
What do we got?
4 Eastern, Chargers at Eagles. Eagles -3.5. Over under 55. I like the over here as well.
So if you bet the horse race early in the day, it's the odds that the race goes off at. Horse racing is pari-mutuel betting, so it's pooled betting. So the way that works, it's the odds of when the race goes off. It's not like, you bet the Texans at -6 early in the week and the line goes to -10 and you get the -6. In horse racing, it's pooled betting and it is whatever it goes off at.
Depends what book you're on. You can find some books that are a little bit asleep on that, and then give it you horses that are at like plus 400, 500, and they don't change it. Yeah.
Always shop your books.
Yeah.
Chris, what do we got?
Chargers at Eagles. Eagles -3.5. Over under 55.
It's a tough one. I'm going to take the Chargers and I like the hook.
I'm going to take the Eagles.
I like the over here as well.
Got a healthy Carson Wentz.
7 Eastern, Ravens at Falcons. Ravens -4.5. Over under 60.5.
So Lamar Jackson's setting, we've gone over this before, has been adjusted, right? It's not
has been adjusted.
Yeah, it's not what it was coming into the season. It's the real Lamar Jackson, the one that we had him pegged for when he was drafted, not the one that everybody else, when there's Trubisky, right?
Yeah. No, he's at, I think, a 92 overall.
Trubisky. Gotta have Trubisky. This guy started 1 year. 1 year. This coach got fired. So I like the Ravens.
Ravens.
Falcons.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons.
So we got one more or two more?
Yeah, one more. Cowboys at Seahawks at 10. Cowboys -2.5. Over under 58.5.
I'm going to take
Seattle money line.
Money line.
Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks with the points.
Cowboys have really played a lot of games this week. I think they're going to be gassed. Well, anyways, that wraps up today's show.
I got two more quick sim picks.
All right, let's
Hockey
go.
One.
We're out of time.
I haven't lost one yet. I haven't lost any. So Well, the first one's up. We got Tampa Bay at Boston.
NHL, this is?
NHL, yeah. Tampa Bay at Boston. I'm taking Boston money line over Tampa. Boston's at home. Boston minus 105. Now we got the Avs at the Oilers. Avs are the favorite. Oilers are underdog at home. I'm going to take the Oilers money line at home. And parlay that up with Seattle money line. It'll be a birdcage of the day in the same pick.
That's it.
Bam.
That's it. This might be a dumb question. Yeah, this is where we're at. That's all I got to say to that. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah. We bet on so today we've done simulated horse racing, simulated football, and simulated hockey. So yeah, that's where we're at. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Tomorrow we're going to try and get on about a half hour earlier. We're going to start going back to about 10:30. Try and creep back to that 10 o'clock Eastern time, slowly but surely. Anyways, this is Mitch, Rod, Chris, Steve. Thanks for joining me. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Enjoy the Arkansas Derby, and maybe we'll come on, right before the race and in between the races. So this is Mitch. See you guys maybe later on today.
See ya.
Good one.